The hardest blow a man can take in this life does not come from an enemy standing across the battlefield. It comes from the person standing right beside him. When you face an enemy, your shield is already raised, your mind is prepared for the strike, and you expect the conflict. You are ready for war. But betrayal is an entirely different beast. Betrayal slips past your heavy armor because you left the gates of your fortress wide open for them. It comes from a loyal friend, a trusted business partner, or a woman you love deeply. It comes from those you trusted with your absolute blind spots. When betrayal happens, it does not just break your heart or damage your ego. It violently shatters your entire perception of reality and human nature. You are forced to question your own judgment, wondering how you could have been so blind, so foolish, and so dangerously naive to let them in. The pain of betrayal is a heavy, suffocating darkness that modern society tells you to cry about. They want you to victimize yourself and seek pity. Weak men let this poison consume them completely. They become bitter, resentful, and spend years complaining to anyone who will listen about how unfair the world is. But you are not here to be a victim, and you are not here to seek pity. You are here to learn the brutal, unbreakable way of the ancient Stoics. The Stoic philosophers understood a terrifying but liberating truth. The betrayal was never meant to destroy you. It was a cosmic test meant to raise you. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius ruled over millions of people and held absolute power. Yet, his court was constantly filled with traitors, spies, and fake friends. Did he let it break his spirit? Did he lose his mind in paranoia? No, because he mentally prepared himself for betrayal every single morning. He wrote in his private journal, "Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, disloyalty, ill will, and absolute selfishness." He expected human nature to be flawed. The Stoic man does not live in a childish fantasy world where everyone is good and honorable. He lives in the cold, unfiltered reality of human behavior. When you are betrayed, your immediate reaction is profound shock. But the Stoic realizes that the shock is just the painful death of an illusion. You are living in a dream, placing your ultimate trust in flawed, mortal human beings who are constantly driven by their own selfish desires and fears. The betrayal is an agonizing awakening, but it is a necessary fire. It burns away your childish naivety and forces you to grow up immediately. It forces you to look at the world with cold, clear eyes, allowing you to suddenly see people for exactly what they are, not what they pretend to be. This clarity is a painful gift, but imagine if they had never betrayed you. You would have spent the rest of your life defending a parasite. You would have kept a traitor inside your walls, sharing your hard-earned resources and your vital energy with someone secretly plotting your downfall. The betrayal did not ruin your life. The betrayal cleaned your life. It aggressively removed the rot that your ego was too blind to see. Now that the illusion is completely gone, you are left with the raw, burning pain. And the Stoic command for this moment is incredibly simple. Do not run. Do not run from the pain, and do not numb it with alcohol, cheap distractions, or meaningless entertainment. You must sit in the fire and let it burn. The Stoics viewed emotional pain as the ultimate forge for the human soul. It is the only place where true, unshakable mental toughness is created. Just as raw gold is purified in a blazing fire, a strong man is purified in the brutal furnace of profound adversity and heartbreak. When a weak man is betrayed, his fragile ego is shattered. He desperately seeks revenge, wanting to see the other person suffer as much as he did. But the great philosopher Seneca taught that seeking revenge is exactly like drinking poison and waiting patiently for your enemy to die. It only destroys you. The absolute best revenge, as Marcus Aurelius said, is to simply be unlike him who performed the injury. Do not lower yourself to their level. You do not become a liar and a traitor just because you were betrayed by one. You maintain your honor even when they abandon theirs. Instead, you take all that anger, all that heavy disappointment, and you channel it entirely into your own physical and mental elevation. Every single time you feel the sharp sting of their memory, use it as pure, unadulterated fuel to lift heavier weights and work longer hours. You turn their disrespect into the very foundation of your new empire. You use the stones they threw at you to build your impenetrable walls. Before the betrayal, your happiness was dangerously dependent on them. Your sense of security was deeply tied to their loyalty and their constant validation. This was your greatest philosophical mistake. You effectively handed the golden keys of your mental kingdom to a complete stranger. Epictetus warned us about this weakness. He asked why we feel no shame in handing over our own minds to be confused and mystified by anyone who attacks us. The betrayal teaches you the ultimate Stoic lesson. The external world is chaotic, treacherous, and entirely out of your control. The only thing you can truly trust, and the only thing you truly own, is your own mind. Everything else is just borrowed from fate. You must build what Marcus Aurelius called the inner citadel, a massive fortress inside your soul that absolutely no one can enter without your permission. Friends will leave, partners will cheat, and business associates will steal. The world will constantly try to break you down and test your limits. But the inner citadel remains yours alone. When the world outside turns dark and treacherous, you retreat into the absolute silence of your own discipline. A man who has successfully built this internal fortress cannot be destroyed by betrayal because his core value was never tied to the traitor in the first place. You cannot go back to who you were before the betrayal. That version of you is dead, and quite frankly, he needed to die. He was too soft, too accommodating, and too trusting. He believed the fake smiles and empty words without ever looking at the brutal reality of their actions. The man who rises from the ashes of this destruction is someone entirely different. He is colder, sharper, and far more dangerous to manipulate. He does not give his trust away for free anymore. Trust is no longer a given gift, it is a heavy iron fortress that must be breached through proven loyalty. You become a man of quiet, calculated observation. You listen carefully to what people say, but you strictly believe only what they actually do. People will notice the sudden change in you. They will complain that you have become distant, hard, and unreachable. They will say you have changed. Let them talk. A sharpened sword does not care what the weak metal scraps think of its deadly edge. You are not here to please them. You are no longer living for their fleeting approval. You are living by a strict, uncompromising code of internal sovereignty and honor. You finally realize that solitude is not a punishment. Solitude is the ultimate freedom from the constant manipulation and noise of weak people. There is a terrifying, silent power in a man who has survived a deep betrayal and chosen to rebuild himself into a titan rather than destroy others. He becomes completely untouchable. Because what can the external world or anyone in it possibly do to him now? They already took his absolute trust. They already broke his heart. They already pushed him to the very edge of the dark, bottomless abyss. But he looked deep into that abyss, smiled at the darkness, and climbed back up to the surface with a mind made of solid iron. You cannot intimidate or break a man who has already faced the worst human nature has to offer, and survived it with his discipline intact. This is exactly why the betrayal raises you. It takes a piece of fragile clay, crushes it under immense pressure, and transforms it into an unbreakable diamond. You carry a dark, silent authority now. You move through the world not with loud arrogance, but with absolute, quiet certainty in your own strength. You know exactly what humans are capable of, both good and evil, and you are fully prepared for it. Your boundaries are now made of iron. Do not curse the one who betrayed you. In their pathetic attempt to destroy you, they accidentally set you completely free. They showed you the absolute fragility of the external world and forced you to finally discover the invincible power of your own mind. They were the fire, but you are the steel. The flames only burned away your impurities, leaving behind a weapon ready for war. Take your crown back. Stop giving your vital energy and your mental peace to the memory of a ghost who did not deserve your loyalty. You have a massive mission to complete. You have a body to harden, a mind to master, and an empire to build from the ground up. Let the traitors and the liars fade into the pathetic background noise of history. They were merely a chapter. You are the entire book. Your path is relentlessly forward, descending toward the solitary peaks of absolute self-mastery and internal peace. To walk this path, you must embrace the concept of amor fati, the love of one's fate. You do not just accept the betrayal, you actively embrace it. You say to the universe, "Is this what you have given me, a traitor? Then I will use this traitor to become a stronger version of myself." This mindset makes you completely immune to suffering. If everything that happens to you is used as fuel, then nothing can ever stop your fire. The weak man prays for an easy life, a life without conflict, betrayal, or pain. The Stoic man prays for the strength to endure a difficult one. Understand that life is a brutal arena. You were not put here to relax. You were put here to conquer your own base instincts and rise above them. Every time you remember the betrayal, do not feel anger. Feel profound gratitude. They gave you the greatest lesson you could ever receive. They taught you that loyalty is rare, that words are cheap, and that your internal fortitude is the only true wealth you possess. Moving forward, you will build your relationships differently. You will build them on the solid rock of mutual respect, not the shifting sand of blind trust. You will demand excellence from those around you because you now demand absolute excellence from yourself. And if someone proves themselves unworthy of your circle, you will remove them without hesitation, without anger, and without regret. Because a sovereign man does not negotiate his boundaries. He dictates them. And those who cannot respect the boundaries are left outside the gates. This level of strict detachment is not coldness, it is supreme self-preservation. It is the act of guarding your soul from infection. Look at the statues of the ancient conquerors. They do not look angry, and they do not look sad. They look completely unbothered by the chaos below them. That is the state of ataraxia. A mental tranquility that remains perfectly still even when the world is burning around you. You reach this state by accepting that humans will be humans. They will lie, they will cheat, and they will betray. That is their nature. Your nature is to remain virtuous, strong, and disciplined, regardless of what the people around you choose to do. You cannot control their treachery, but you have absolute, dictatorial control over your own response. So rise up. Dust the ash off your shoulders. Look at the ruins of your old life and see the foundation of your new empire. The betrayal was the end of a weak man and the birth of a dangerous one. Embrace the transformation. Let the pain forge you. Let the solitude harden you. Let the silence become your ultimate weapon against the noise of the world. You are a Stoic. You are an architect of your own mind. And no traitor has the power to tear down what you are about to build. The world will soon see the monster they created when they decided to turn their back on you. But this monster operates with honor. If you are ready to use your deepest pain to forge an unbreakable, dominant mind, subscribe to the Ancient Mind. We are building an unstoppable brotherhood of men who refuse to be broken by the weakness of others. Leave the word unbreakable in the comments if you are rising from the ashes today. Master the pain, command your empire, stay Stoic.